Welcome back to this special edition of Fast Money. We are closing the books on an historic week for crypto. The first Bitcoin futures ETF made its big debut. The ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF dropped 5% since Tuesday's launch. Meanwhile, Bitcoin itself breaking out to a new all-time high before pulling back a bit. Our next guest believes there is enough excitement to drive the cryptocurrency to the $100,000 mark later this year. Let's bring in Meltem Demirors, Chief Strategy Officer at CoinShares. Meltem, it's great to see you again. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy to be back.
I'd love to talk to you about what's so magic about 100,000, because you're not the first person to put that year-end target on the books.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to give credit to Tom Lee at Fundstrat. I think he was probably the first one to come on air and give us the 100K target. But look, it's a nice round number. And I think, again, breaking six figures is a historic milestone for Bitcoin. We had a historic week in Bitcoin, over $1 billion traded in the first 24 hours of this ETF being launched. And again, I think everyone's been talking about the ETF for ages and ages. Not a spot ETF, but I think, again, allocators are very seriously looking at Bitcoin, and everyone wants to get off zero. So this ETF is a great new channel where allocators can easily access this new asset class. Yeah.
For a while, we were talking about mind share, market share between Bitcoin and Ether. We're coming off gold having its best week since August, finally getting what appears to be a bit of the inflation trade play. Do you sense that there will be more competition for Bitcoin to accomplish things that it accomplishes?
Look, I think that one of the things we're starting to see is the crypto sector matures, right? We used to talk only about cryptocurrencies on this program a year ago. Now we have over $100 billion of market cap in publicly listed equities that are crypto pure plays, including companies like Coinbase, but also my company CoinShares and a number of others. There are miners, there are exchanges, there are financial services companies. So we have public equities, and we have now a greater number of crypto assets that have sizable market cap, a lot of liquidity. But Bitcoin really is very unique in the pantheon of crypto assets. Bitcoin has very unique properties that make it a perfect antidote to chaos in your portfolio. And if we look at what's happening around the world right now, if we look at how investors are thinking about portfolio construction and allocating long-term in this environment, people are very concerned about risk. People are very concerned about the political environment, the social environment. So I think for many investors, Bitcoin really is very unique, and it occupies a special place in the portfolio. And it means actually that I think Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, other assets are complementary, but an allocation to Bitcoin, in my view, is a must for any investor.
Grasso, thank you for joining us. If I give you a caveat that you can't answer this question with Bitcoin, what else would you, if you wanted the exposure, what else would you buy? I bought the ETF this week for myself just to get a little bit of exposure there. But would you go with a marathon? Would you go with something that's up 300% like a marathon, or the ETF? Once again, how do you play Bitcoin if you don't want to buy it directly for the viewers?
Yeah, great question. And this is something we talk about often. I think a great play is buying the ETF. Obviously, it's a simple product wrapper. It's easy to understand, but just know that there's a very sizable carrying cost there. Another option is actually buying an equities index. We offer one in Europe that trades under the ticker BLOCK. It's about $1 billion in market cap. It's an equities ETF. I apologize, I'm outside and there's a car alarm going off. And then another way to play this, we're getting some local color here. Another way to play this as well, I think, is buying a market cap weighted basket. So there are a number of issuers in the US who offer trust products that has a market-weighted basket, so that gives you exposure to not just Bitcoin, but a number of other assets in the crypto space that you can buy easily through an existing brokerage account. So again, I think the fact that this asset class is no longer just cryptocurrencies, but also equities as well, is really promising. And there are a whole slate of IPOs and SPACs coming to market in the next 3 to 6 months that are going to continue to give investors a great entry point into this trade.
Meltem, our thanks as always. Great to see you. Have a good weekend.
Thanks. See you guys soon.
Mike, were you impressed with the action in this space this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of hard not to be, right? And one of the things that we continue to see is that when you have increased evidence of adoption, that is going to be supportive of this space. And you obviously see that in the price action. I think the little bit of the drop that we saw at the tail end of the week, notwithstanding. That said, she did make an important point about the carry, and it's one of those things that I'm not that crazy about is when you start buying a product where, people who can essentially try to play the arb, which is to sell the overvalued asset and buy the undervalued one, just one up. That part of it is not so attractive to me, and it's one of the reasons why if you have significant carry in something like the ETF, I might be inclined to avoid it. Although I will say that when you get a lot of participants doing that, you can actually create a little bit of a squeeze, so it can actually expand before it contracts.
Right.